Now, Carey, we were talking about technology and toys. I know with my 9-year-old, our 2-year-old's a little too young, but you know, we were always a little weary about how much technology to kind of introduce into his life. And we see that more and more and more, like, there are computers and all of these different things for kids and iPads. And then there's the competition of the fact that there's so many kids at his school that have all of this stuff.
It's so hard. The solution to me is to have had your kids much earlier when I did, because we had one computer in the living room, and that was connected just through dial-up internet. And so technology wasn't a problem. It was just so much easier back in the early 2000s. But that doesn't work. It's not very practical because everybody now, like our house, Wi-Fi everywhere, we have devices all over the place. It's a different game. And I guess, the question is how much technology when?
I know that we've, myself and my husband have really talked about just even computer use and games. There's all sorts of games now. Minecraft is a big game for that age group as well. But there's a new Barbie that's come out, and she's called Hello Barbie. And so the whole idea is that there's some sort of a chip inside of her, and so the child will ask Barbie a question or talk to Barbie, and it goes up somewhere in a cloud, in those clouds up there, and
the cloud is.
And then there's a response. And some people are concerned about this technology and the fact that this Barbie can now transmit information, and just wondering about privacy. Children also are very vulnerable with their dolls, and sometimes they'll talk to their group of dolls, and so just parents wonder about just how much information is being stored in the cloud, who's hearing this information. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a great question. I read that article as well, and so I guess you speak to the doll, kind of like Siri. If you talk to your iPhone, it gets translated up to a cloud server somewhere. They then instantly relay a message back. So your daughter doesn't actually know. It's like, I always thought Siri lived inside your phone. Apparently not. No, it gets transmitted to Cupertino or wherever. And so basically all your conversations are public. And so the issue is that good for a 3-year-old? And parents are going to have very different views. I mean, I think it really depends on the individual parent. And you think about this, here's a question to ask yourself, because we're very concerned about privacy. But if you look at how many parents, Maggie, actually have their kids nonstop on Instagram, nonstop on Facebook, and sometimes here's what I think, like, your kids are going to see those pictures one day and how much you complained about them or what you said about them. So I think it's a really big issue, and I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer. I mean, I use Siri on a regular basis on my phone, and I don't know where the privacy lines are or where they're not. But this is going to be a big issue for Mattel and for Barbie.
I think it's a bigger question of just accepting technology. Obviously, we want to accept technology and innovation, and we want to be open to that, but also protecting just our children. And I know some people have talked about just questioned who these people are that will respond to these children and these random questions that your child will have or be discussing with their Barbie. So I think, you're right. I mean, it's definitely household to household. Every household will be different, but it's a good conversation to have. Just technology and just boundaries, and setting those boundaries are so important.
It is hard, and part of the dilemma, I think the difficult part of the era we live in, is we create the technology and we shape it, but then it shapes us. And sometimes it feels like the technology, we've created something we don't know what to do with. And I think, intelligent Christmas toys like this Hello Barbie are just a great example of, oh my goodness, we have the technology, but we're not sure we have the ethics or the philosophy to know what to do with what we've created. So it's just something, I think it's a conversation you need to have in your home before you go out and just blindly buy some technological
And I think the key word is conversation. That is always the big thing. And I know many experts, parenting experts that we've had here on 100 Huntley Street have always said that having an open conversation with your children, allowing them to understand what the boundaries are as well as you set them as parents, is so important.
It really is.
Awesome conversation.